over the past 24 hours or so, Manchester United have been linked with a man going by the name of Jhon Lucumi, the 25-year-old left-footed Colombian centre-back currently playing for Bologna in Serie A. And any potential business here for me is incredibly exciting. Now, the reason it's so exciting for me is because a good friend of mine, FP, told me to start watching him about 5 or 6 months ago now. And as a result, since then, I've been watching him on a regular basis, building a scout report, and now Manchester United are being linked with him. And I'm excited because, in my opinion, this could almost be the perfect bit of business for Manchester United to do this summer, especially if you are looking for someone who can be a backup to Lisandro Martinez. Of course, at the moment, we have this problem where when Lisandro Martinez gets injured, we just kind of collapse. We have no one else who can do a similar job. The whole thing just falls apart, really. Lucumi is someone who could go some way to addressing that because of his brilliant skill set. And we're going to look at that today. Of course we are. And we're going to start off with the in-possession play, what he looks to do with the football. Now, what we're going to do initially is look at his profile, what he is good at, and then we're going to look at his tactical fit, potentially, if he was to join Manchester United in the summer. Sound good? Let's get into it. Jhon Lucumi is very, very composed on the ball, very comfortable, excellent temperament, doing things at his own pace. He is so cool, calm, collected in the defence. He can be under pressure in deep areas, whether it's in a duel. He is just always a calm player. He always seems really in control of the situation which he is going into, which straight away, box ticked, I like that a lot. I like a calm player, someone who takes his time on the ball, that's good to see. But importantly, not only is he calm and patient, he's also very, very effective, and in particular, progressive. A very good progressive passer. Someone who can move the ball forward through the lines. It's reflected in his FB ref report in terms of progressive passing distance in the past 365 days. Very good at moving the ball forward with his left foot. So he will stride to the left-hand side of the defence, take a touch to get the ball out of his feet, and then fire a pass forward, often into the feet of a striker, who is then able to sort of kind of play a pop-off pass backwards. I really like that. He's also able to progress the ball, though, with progressive carries as well. So not only is he passing his way out of trouble, he can also carry his way out of trouble. And that is partly because of his size and his strength and his power. He's around 6'2", 6'3". This is a big guy, but a big strong guy as well. So not only is he tall, he's got a big frame, which means as someone comes over to kind of put him under pressure, he's got this brilliant frame which allows him to just really power his way out from the back. And again, we can see his progressive carry distance is very, very good in the past year or so, allowing him to stride forward out of these situations and once again move the ball forward for his side. Now, in terms of this whole idea of carrying and take-ons and things like that, this is a ball carrier rather than a dribbler. Lisandro Martinez, for example, at times is someone who will kind of take the man on a little bit more with twists and turns. Lucumi is all about power, moving the ball forward in that way. So it's still effective, but just a little bit different to Lisandro Martinez. But it's not too much of a problem because, like I've said, in general, he is just extremely progressive. That can be with long passes of play. His switches are absolutely brilliant. His long passing completion rate, very, very good. He's a very good passer on the ball. But what I also like is his ability to move into different positions. At times he has played left back in his career, although not too often. But he can also play on the right side of defence as well, at right centre back. Thanks to the fact that he is two-footed. He can use his left foot, he can use his right foot, and that removes a lot of angle bias. Some players get forced onto one foot and they then get a little bit stuck. The opposition can kind of force them onto their weak foot and then they don't know how to play. Not really the case for the Colombian international, able to use either foot to get himself out of trouble, and I like that. I like it a lot. I also like his defensive profile as well, because this is someone who has PNP, pace and power. Very athletic, very strong, able to cover a lot of ground and very good in that way. But I also just like his approach to defending as well. Front-footed, strong, aggressive, looking to go into tackles nice and high up the pitch, looking to win the ball back for his side, particularly in things like counter-press and rest defence, those sort of situations. When his side loses the ball, he is someone who wants to quickly be front-footed, get up against the striker, and a lot of the time, he's simply able just to kind of bundle these players over. In terms of in the duel, he is the best duelling player in Serie A in terms of centre-backs. In terms of duel success rate, the best in Serie A this season. That's very impressive because there are some good centre-backs over in Italy. Lucumi, when it comes to the duel, is up there with the very best. Very strong in these situations, making him an excellent ball winner for his side. But he is also adaptable as well. He does have the recovery pace. He can be someone who covers a lot of ground and therefore is more of a covering defender. A lot of the time it will depend, who he's up against. So if he's up against a striker which wants to come deep, he'll often go with them. But if he's up against a striker which wants to run into the channels, he can deal with that as well. And I think all round, in terms of actual his profile, you can see why I'm a big fan. But it's not only about his profile as a player. Because, yes, he is similar to Lisandro Martinez. You know, he's good on the ball. He's left-footed for a start as well. He's composed. He likes to come under pressure, kind of buy time for his teammates. He's good as that. Moving the ball forward through the thirds, long passing, aggressive defending, things like that. So he is similar to Lisandro Martinez in several different ways. Unfortunately, including not actually being great in the air despite his height. But anyway, whilst he is a similar profile to Lisandro Martinez in terms of he has similar strengths, that doesn't necessarily mean that he would have the same tactical fit. You know, there could be a lot of players with that same skill set, but they all might want to play in different ways, in different tactical systems. However, on this occasion, we do have ourselves a player who I think can tick a lot of the boxes of what Lisandro Martinez currently does for the side. I do see someone who could have a very, very similar tactical fit. And to see this, we are going to go over to Once Video Analyzer Pro, which you can check out in the description. But just give me 1 second before we do that. Because the big thing for me with Lucumi is the ability to move into different positions. Now, this is something which Ten Hag really demands from his centre-backs. The ability to sometimes rotate out wide, but importantly, step into midfield. We've seen Lisandro Martinez do this quite a lot. We've seen Maguire try to do it. We've seen Varane try to do it. Those guys struggle a bit more. Lisandro Martinez is the one who is good at it. Lucumi is another one. Very good at moving into these positions. And that is because he is comfortable receiving with his back to goal. So if we're talking about, for example, a goal kick structure where perhaps one of your centre-backs drops a little bit deeper like this with the goalkeeper, and then your other one moves into midfield like this alongside one of your midfielders into perhaps this sort of structure, for example, Lucumi can do this. And this is something which currently United can only do when Lisandro Martinez plays, because he's the only one who can do this to a top level. Lucumi helps with this. He can play that sort of inverted centre-back role, is what it has been called before. You know, we've seen Jhon Stones do it as well for Manchester City. Starting as a centre-back, but then moving into midfield. Lucumi can do this, and that's really exciting. And as promised, we will head over to Once Video Analyzer Pro to take a look at this. Make sure to check this out in the description, by the way. It's a great video analysis software, really useful for looking at clips like this. And as we can see, Lucumi playing initially in the defence. Now, what we're going to look at first of all, before we get into those rotations, is that composure on the ball, which I was talking about. Because what I love is a player who is willing to take a lot of touches on the ball, you know, a lot of touches on the ball in these deep areas, kind of drawing the opposition onto him because it's going to make more space for one of his teammates. And this is something which Lucumi does a lot. He takes a lot of touches on the ball. He'll use little feints in these areas. We can see on this instance here, he's kind of pulled his left foot back as though he's about to play the pass. And again, this just manipulates the opposition. It's the fine details. But his plan always is essentially to draw the opposition forward in towards him to make space for other players in midfield. And then on this occasion, he plays the ball off to the side as the opposition player gets close to him. So that composure is something which Ten Hag demands. Lucumi has it. But the exciting thing for me is this ability to move a little bit higher up the pitch and play with his back to goal and receive these passes under pressure and be able to turn and play out from trouble. Now, this isn't the perfect example. I wouldn't say, you know, it's a bit of a different scenario to perhaps what we normally see at United, but this is still reflecting the same skill set. And trust me, he can do it. You just got to trust me on this one. So we've got him marked up here top right, and we can see that the ball is going to come forward. And I mean, the first thing we can see is that he's much higher than a centre-back position. You know, he's playing much higher on this instance. And the ball's going to come towards him. And because he's playing a little bit higher up the pitch, what this means is that occasionally you have to receive the ball with your back to play. Now, what that means is that someone can sneak up on you. Someone can come in from behind you and apply pressure. And we can see that exactly here. Someone putting Lucumi under pressure. But he has the ability, the awareness, the scanning ability, but also the ability to turn, to deal with these situations, to draw this sort of pressure in, receive the ball on the half turn, and go past his man, using the opposition's player momentum against them. So they kind of race past as he turns. It's absolutely brilliant. And it's something, again, which Lisandro Martinez does quite a lot. But I do think he's our only player which does it well on a regular basis. Lucumi could do it perfectly if Lisandro Martinez was to get injured again. Lucumi comes in, it's almost perfect. And then, of course, on the ball, a little bit further up the pitch, in more settled possession and things like that, he's just brilliant in terms of his progressive ability. Regularly working the ball onto his left foot. You know, he is two-footed, but there is a left foot bias, I would say. He does prefer his left foot. But immediately getting the ball onto his left foot, and then he's looking to try these passes through the lines, which are going to take out, as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players at once. A pass through the lines into the feet of a striker, taking out a lot of players on the way. On this occasion, passing to Joshua Zirkzee. If you want a video on him, by the way, let me know. He's another good player at Bologna. But we can see that progressive pass from Lucumi. It takes out a lot of players. It's really, really effective. and it's something he does on, you know, a pretty regular basis. But it's not the only pass he's got in his locker. There's a few different things that he's capable of, but I just love this willingness to carry the ball forward, to wait for players to come towards him, and then play these progressive passes through the lines and really penetrate the opposition's defence. It's absolutely brilliant to see. But like I said, it's not the only way he can do this as well. He's progressive in other ways. For example, on this occasion, the carry, as the ball is played across the pitch towards him, he is able to take the ball, wait for this opposition player to get towards him, then he takes this big touch with his right foot, kind of pushing the ball out in front of him, and then once again striding forward, using his pace and power to move away from the opposition to progress the ball for his side. On this occasion, he shoots. It's not a great shot, I'll be honest with you, but it's not too important for a centre back. We'll let him get off with that. On this occasion, sort of on the left side of a back three, and he's going to show off his longer passing ability. And again, the technique is very, very good. We saw in the numbers earlier, his long passing is extremely impressive, right onto the foot of his teammate. Again, from a progressive point of view, he's really good. And honestly, I see a lot of similarities to Lisandro Martinez, except for the fact that Lucumi is much more physical. You know, he's much taller, he's much stronger, and he's also much quicker. He's able to cover much larger spaces of ground, really. So whereas Lisandro Martinez can often be restricted to, in possession, playing in a central area, like this, for example, where he's got cover either side of him should we lose the ball, Lucumi has a bit more versatility to his game in the sense that I think he can be the wider defender, which in terms of in the transfer market gives you more potential in terms of what other defenders you're going to sign. So Lucumi, I think, is a really good player. In terms of weaknesses, you know, he has had a couple of injury problems, which would be a concern, but when he's fit, he's just top level. I think he's very, very good, one of the best defenders in Serie A. The other concern would be his aerial ability. Now, he kind of makes up for it for the fact that simply he is a tall, strong player. So, you know, whereas Lisandro Martinez is quite weak aerially, but also he's tiny, really, isn't he? Lucumi is a big player. So even when he isn't the best in the air, at least he still physically is able to impose himself. But it is certainly a weakness, and I think there are other areas of his game which need to develop as well. In terms of this video, we're going to wrap it up there, because my plan now is to keep watching this guy over the next few months. I think Bologna literally play tonight, so I recommend you watch him if you can. I'm going to keep watching him develop, see how he goes through the rest of the season, before potentially actually going as far as recommending him as a signing in the summer. But we're not going to get there just yet. I want to watch him a little bit more, and I suggest that you guys do the same. But until then, we're finished for today. So get in the comments down below and let me know what you think of him. Is he a player which you have seen before? If so, what do you think? Is there anything I've missed? Get it in the comments. But also, if you haven't seen him before, what do you think based on what I've said today? Is this a sort of profile that we should be going for? Someone quite similar to Lisandro Martinez? Or should we be going for someone completely different? A completely different profile? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. But apart from that, we are finished for today. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you have enjoyed it. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.